On site between Chibombo and Kabwe, right here where we are standing, construction is active and unmistakable. Concrete columns are already standing. Steel traces stretch across the carriageway. Under them, tall booths are taking shape as earthquakes, paving and drainage continue around the site. As you can see, heavy equipment moves in and out. Workers in high visibility gear are spread across the plaza footprint. This is the new toll plaza on the Lusaka Ndola Dual Carriageway, one of two being built under this particular project. What is visible here is not an afterthought, it is part of the design. This particular toll plaza is a core component of the public-private partnership, PPP model financing the Lusaka Ndola Dual Carriageway upgrade, a project valued at approximately 650 million United States dollars. Now, the purpose is to ensure the road is able to repay its construction, fund its own maintenance, and remain operational long after completion without adding to Zambia's sovereign debt. Okay, that distinction matters. The road has not been handed over to a concessionaire. It remains a public asset delivered through a partnership in which government is fully present, but deliberately avoids borrowing that would sit on the national balance sheet for decades. Okay, institutions such as NAPSA and the Workers' Compensation Control Fund Board are part of the financing structure alongside private capital. This means Zambian pension and workers' funds are invested into infrastructure that generates returns rather than being eroded by inflation or idle exposure. This particular toll infrastructure being built right here is therefore not about private profit in isolation. This is the standard President Hakainde Hichilema has insisted on across public infrastructure. Value for money, transparency, realistic financing and delivery that does not mortgage the future. What is taking shape on the ground right here is not just a road, but a different way of building one. Toll revenue is the mechanism that repays construction costs, supports routine maintenance, enforces axle load compliance, and guarantees that traffic will not grind to a halt years from now due to a deteriorating road surface.
But do all of that with the right cost. 2, quality of work. 3, timely. People have to be guided. That's how you run things. If you want to run successful things, you have to guide people when you give them an assignment. It's called terms of reference, scope of work.
Zambia has lived the alternative. In the past, roads were built using debt without secured repayment models. Contractors were engaged without guaranteed funding. When the economy weakened, the kwacha depreciated, the cost of materials surged, and debt servicing ballooned. Some projects stalled, of course. Others were completed at far higher cost than planned. That approach contributed directly to the fiscal pressure the country spent years correcting. This particular project reflects a deliberate break from that cycle. As of early 2026, the Lusaka Ndola Dual Carriageway upgrade is approaching 60% completion, with visible progress across key sections. As you can see, the emergence of toll plazas here in Central Province and on the Masangano-Fisengi-Luansha stretch signals that the project is being delivered as designed and improvised midway. Of course, the rainfall along the corridor has been sufficient to allow works to continue, particularly on concrete, drainage and structure elements. Okay? At the same time, a stronger kwacha has reduced the cost of imported materials compared to periods of sharp depreciation, meaning future phases benefit rather than suffer from current movements. Beyond financing, the physical layout tells its own story. The wide canopy structure designed to accommodate multiple lanes and electronic tolling system reflects long-term traffic planning. Integration with weighbridge infrastructure, including Kapirimposhi, supports road preservation and freight efficiency. The corridor is being prepared not just for today's traffic, but for decades of economic movement between Lusaka and the Copperbelt. What does this mean? Jobs are being created, money is being saved, debt without a clear plan for repayment is being avoided. That's the situation.